My name is Joe Blasco, and I would like to welcome you to the 2018 PMAC Award in Atlanta. Firstly, I would like to thank Ms. Gwyneth Mosby and Mr. Philip Mosby for having me here and for asking me to be part of this wonderful, wonderful occasion. And I suppose because the event is about old Hollywood and vintage Hollywood, I suppose I'm perfectly suited to be here today, considering how long I've been in the industry and my career has spanned decades. And I actually started as a child. I've been asked several times as to how did I get started in makeup, and actually it was a hobby. I wanted to do makeup, monster makeup, and I wanted to do what Jack Pierce had done because when I was a kid, I watched all of the early Universal motion pictures, Frankenstein, Dracula, the werewolf, the mummy, and I was fascinated by what I saw. And one day I saw a documentary of Jack Pierce, who was the head of makeup for Universal Studios, actually doing these makeups. And I thought, wow, that looks like a really fun job, and that's what I want to do. So from when I was 7 years old, my mother bought me a little Halloween makeup kit. From that point on, I've done makeup, or talked about makeup, or had a brush in my hand every day of my life. And I'm not going to tell you how old I am right now, but let's just say it's been quite a while. And so I wanted to be a makeup artist. I studied with the Max Factor Company. I flew from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to New York. I got a job with the Max Factor Company, and they flew me to Hollywood. They trained me in Hollywood. I actually learned how to do beauty makeup at Max Factor by watching Hal King, the head of the makeup department there, apply beauty makeup to Lucille Ball. I was the little guy sitting in the corner watching him do this makeup, and many, many years later, I actually did Lucille Ball's makeup many, many times at ABC television. I started my career in early horror films. I did many of the early David Cronenberg films. They Came From Within and Rabid, and films such as Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, and they're very cult horror films. In these films, I actually developed the bladder technique where you see something crawling underneath the skin, and several actual hands-on techniques using cotton and latex coupled with prosthetic appliances, which had not really been done before. It was either construction makeup or it was prosthetic, but I loved to put them together and to create a much more organic feel and look to my makeups. So I became very well known in Hollywood for that. And but then I got a call one day. I got a fantastic call from a man by the name of Rudy Horvatish. And when I heard the name Rudy Horvatish, my ears really picked up because I had seen his name in television since I was a child. And he had done all of the makeup, and he was the head of the makeup department at ABC television. And he wanted to interview me, so I went to ABC. He interviewed me, and he gave me a staff job at ABC television. So there I was, entering television and somewhat teeter-tottering and jumping back and forth between TV and trying to do motion pictures. And enjoying myself and falling in love with television. And I'll tell you why I liked television. It was because it was actually the golden age of television at that time. And I became known also, aside from all of my monster and special makeup effects developments and pioneering efforts, I became very well known as a beauty makeup artist, and I became a celebrity makeup artist. And I was doing people, for instance, actors now we call them, as famous as Marlene Dietrich and Dorothy Lamour, Bing Crosby, Carol Burnett. I worked with Carol Burnett off and on for 15 years. And Lauren Bacall and John Wayne, Rock Hudson, Esther Williams, Dick Clark, Sid Caesar. I mean, there's so many. Lawrence Welk. I actually did Lawrence Welk's makeup for many years as well, under the guidance of Rudy Horvatish at ABC television. Names such as Burt Lancaster, Gabe Kaplan, Lee Merriweather, Regis Philbin, and Johnny Mathis, Stevie Wonder, Michael Douglas, Jane Fonda, Margaret Hamilton from the Wicked Witch of the West, from The Wizard of Oz. I actually recreated that makeup many, many times at ABC television for many television and Halloween specials. And so I was very, very lucky. I worked with so many stars, Orson Welles, the great director-actor for so many amazing films like Citizen Kane, And I did films for him. I did his very last film, Butterfly with Pia Zadora. And in that film, I actually had one of my apprentices with me, a man by the name of Matthew Mungle, whom you're going to be seeing here at the PMAC Awards show. And it's going to be my great pleasure to present him with the Joe Blasco Iconic Award. And this man has made me very, very proud. He was one of my first apprentices, and he's gone on to win Academy Awards for films such as Bram Stoker's Dracula and several others. So you'll be meeting Matthew a little later on in the program. And so people like Rock Hudson, Wayne Newton, Frida Payne, Abe Vigoda from the Barney Miller Show, Peter Lorre, Mo Howard from the Three Stooges. I mean, these are just a few names of people that I've worked with over the years. And Gladys Knight, Betty White, Diane Carroll, the beauty Diane Carroll. It's been a wonderful, wonderful career. And by being a celebrity makeup artist, aside from doing just monster makeup and special makeup effects, it enabled me to become known as an all-around makeup artist. And you know, I think this is how I kept my longevity, because I've been asked, how do you keep your longevity in this business? Well, you become as well-rounded as you possibly can. Every day of your life, you practice and you practice and you learn, and you do not allow the art to leave you in the dust. You stay ahead of the art, and you become familiar with absolutely every new material that comes down the pike and every new technique, and try to invent new techniques as well. And this is what I love to do. I started the world's first school for motion picture and television makeup artistry. There was no school when I began my career. The unions were very, very tight, and there was a lot of nepotism in the business. And this nepotism gradually was torn down and replaced by the doors swinging open wide because of my school, and the union accepting all of the wonderful and talented makeup artists that perhaps before my school would not have had the opportunity to become makeup artists in the industry. And I started the cosmetics company, the Joe Blasco Cosmetics Company, which I know you're very well aware of, and MUA TV, which we are now revamping, and we'll be back on the internet very, very soon. So I've been very, very busy. And part of what I'm doing soon will be to be working with Gwyneth Mosby and Philip Mosby at the Gwyneth Mosby Makeup Academy in Midtown Atlanta. And it's going to be my pleasure to work there and to present various training seminars and product knowledge seminars, and to also discuss the possibilities of joint ventures with Ms. Mosby. So to make a long story short here, my inspiration was Jack Pierce. And what is my advice to all of you? Well, I can say this. My work is the historic past. You are the future of makeup artistry. Serve it well.